So dear class, we started last week, if you remember, we worked on the different color functions. So remember there were 6 color functions we discussed. So the 6 color functions are getColor, get and set color, make color, pick a color, and then there are 2 functions to make the color lighter or darker. All these functions, they work on a pixel. So they take a pixel object as input and they modify the color of the pixel. So we have worked on this last time. Then we also discussed last time the media tools that gives us the facility to select the pictures. So it is inside JES menu. There is media tool, and on the media tool menu there is a picture tool option, and it can help you to select an existing picture to modify it. Clear? And if there is no picture, then you cannot do anything. But if there is a picture already in your system, in your programming environment, a picture object or a variable, then you can select that variable and you can display that picture. So it is same as using the show or explore command. These were some of the functions or commands that we did practice in the class. I ask you that whenever you have confusion, take your time, pause the video and practice them again in JES. So here these are the same commands. One type of command is the get and set colors. For example, get red and set red color. Okay, it will only modify one color. Then we have got the get and set color command. So it will modify all the 3 colors. So typical exam question. Exam question is like get color or set color. It modifies how many different colors. So it can modify maximum. It can modify all the colors, which are 3. So it can modify 3 colors. Whereas set and get red command will only modify 1 color. Then we also saw the make color command, and we have also the get color command. And here you will see one new function. We don't use it now. It is the distance function. It will come at the end of the chapter, so ignore it for now. And then we see finally the make darker and make lighter functions. We have already done all this in the class. With the practice, we saw that it will decrease or increase the color values, all the color values. For example, make darker will decrease the red color, all the colors, and try to take the color values towards 0. Make lighter will take the color values towards 255. So pause the video, go through these instructions, this code, and try to run this thing in JES. Until you not practice it yourself, you will never be confident with these things. So we have already done in the class. What we have seen is the use of set color command to modify 1 pixels at a time. So in this picture, we are getting a pixel from a particular location. So this is X of the location, Y of the location. So remember, in the picture, starting from the top left corner is 0, 0. In this direction, Y is increasing, and in the other direction, this one, the X is increasing. Clear? So this is what is happening. So we modify the picture by one, by modifying the pixels one by one. So we take the pixel and we change its color to yellow, and then we move to the next pixel. So remember, in the picture we have got this side of the picture is y-axis and this side is the x-axis. So in this instruction you see the y-axis is not changing, it's 100. So same 100 is fixed, but the x value is changing. That's why we see a line which is on the x-axis side, which is the horizontal line. So like this we modify the pixels one by one, but remember this is the thing that it's a very boring task, not so attractive, because if your picture has 1000 or 1 million pixels, you cannot write the code then line for each pixel 1 million times. So not feasible, not possible. So for this purpose we use the for loop. So we use the loop, and using the loop what we do is that we make a small program, a small function. Inside the for loop what we do is that we modify the picture by modifying each pixel inside the for loop one by one. So what we do is we use getPixels command. Remember, this command will give you set of all the pixels in the picture as an array. So we select one by one all the pixels. So remember, it will automatically select pixels starting from the top left corner. Then it will keep on moving until the line finishes. Then it will continue for the next line. So left to right, it will scan through all the pixels. And for each pixel, it will get the red value and then multiply the red value with 0.5, which means it will half the red value. So this function, it is written as this code is written as a function, and to run this function we have a code over here below that will we will write in the command area. So here I ask you to pause the video and copy this code and try to run it yourself. That will give you the confidence with your programming. So the above, write this function in the program area, whereas this code over here type it one by one in the command area. But remember, the path of the picture, it will be different for each person's computer. So go through it and then we proceed to the next thing. So remember, we have done this, and I hope you have practiced it, the how to run the how to modify the picture by modifying pixels. So what we do is basically we have two main steps. To decrease the red color, we take one picture and we try to make the resulting picture which has less red color. So what we do is that our given input is one picture. It will have a name. In this case it is PICT, and we go through get all the pixels for this picture, and then inside the for loop we select each pixel from the picture and then get the red value of the pixel and multiply it by 0.5. So these are the two main steps we perform. So two steps are performed here. Here in the first two lines we try to select all the pixels, and in the second two lines we modify one by one the value of each pixel. So remember, this inside the for loop, this is the block, this is part of the for loop, and remember, in Python we don't have the starting and the ending brackets for a for loop or a function. And what we do is that we make a box, or we make some indentation, some spacing over here, that gives us the knowledge that these two lines are part of the for loop. Clear? So remember, a for loop has got 6 parts. If you remember, in the last chapter we saw function has 5 parts. For loop in Python has 6 parts. It starts with the for keyword. Then it has an index variable. This is the variable every time it selects one value. So over here the index variable in this example is P. And what it does is that every time it will be selecting one pixel. The third thing is the sequence generator. Sequence generator can be any array. So it is an array or anything that can generate an array. And finally, at the end of the first line you have got a colon. So remember, for the function also we have a colon, and here also we have got a colon. So 4 things in one line: for statement, index variable, in, and sequence generator, and finally colon. So 4 things or 5 things? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. So this is 5th thing, the colon. And after this we have the lines, 1 or 2 or many lines that represent the block. Blocks are basically indented line of code. So exam question: Dash is an indented line of code. So block basically represents indented line of code. So this is also an important exam question. You can have a small question like, what are the 6 parts of a for loop? So these are the 6 parts given for a for loop. Okay. Now one important thing, let me show you how to practice it. The sequence generator, or something that generates a sequence, it can be anything. So let me type some code over here. So here, for example, I write for a for loop. Let me make it a little bigger. You can see clearly. 24 maybe. Yeah. For I in, and here I put a small array. So arrays in Python are normally like a list. So here is a list. So I can put any value. So in this case, the index variable, what is index variable? Pause the video and answer it to yourself. So index variable over here is I variable, and the sequence generator in this case is this array. And then inside the for loop here I can print I, and it will print all these values one by one. So let me, if I want to run it, first I have to save it. So I will save it. So when I save it, now if I want to run it, it will print the values, all the 3 values, they are printed 12, 15 and 29. So one by one it will pick the value and it will print it and then go to the next and so on. Now the important thing I wanted to say is that instead of a list, you can use a sequence generator. So sequence generator can be anything else. So for example, you can use another function called range, and you can ask it to provide a range of values. So range 4 means give me the 4 values. So normally it starts with 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 values. Okay. So any value starting with 0 less than 4, it will give you the values. But if you want to give a range, a particular range, then you can give 2 numbers. So then 2 numbers is 10, 14. It means start with 10 and less than 14. So 14 is not included. So here you do like this. So it will be 10, 11, 12, 13. 14 is not included. So this is a sequence generator, or you can use an array. So getPixels is also just like a sequence generator. It generates all the pixels. So do this practice. Without practice, you will never learn. Do the practice, pause the video, and then we proceed. So remember what happens inside the for loop. When we execute the for loop, what happens is that index variable, which was I in this example, is set to an item in the sequence. It picks up one item from the sequence or from the list, and it will run the block with that value of the variable. So it will run the block. So every time it will run the block has only one instruction, print I, with a different value of I. That's how it proceeds. So normally the variable I is often used inside the block, and then this execution loops to the for statement, and where the index variable gets set to the next item in the sequence. So every time the index variable changes in the sequence. We repeat it until all the values in the sequence, they are finished. So if you remember, in the previous case, we had 3 variables, 12, 15 and 29. When it finishes all of them, then the for loop will finish. So for loop runs in that case 3 times. But whereas in this case, the for loop will run how many times? 4. That's what is here. 4 times it will run. So getPixels, it returns us a sequence of pixels, and each pixel it knows its color and position in the original picture. So when you change the pixel, you change that part of the picture. So when you use the for loop to that assigns the index variable p to a pixel each time, so what it means is that every time you are selecting one pixel from the picture and then you modify that pixel using these commands inside. Clear? So every time you select a pixel and you modify it. Now you see over here, these two are the commands. These two are the functions shown to you, but they are almost the same. This is a typical exam question also that is asked to reduce the size of the code. So how to reduce the size of the code? These two are same functions. The only difference is the number of instructions. So in this first command, what you see is that there is a one command, all pixels equal to getPixels. And then the all pixels variable is used here. So don't forget to put a colon. It's missing. Okay. Instead of using all pixels, you can select the value of all pixels, this value, and I can copy the getPixels over here on this place. So pause the video and look at this code. What is happening over here? I replace all pixels with the value, original value. So in this way, I had 4 instructions in my code and I have reduced them to 3 instructions. Clear? So look at this video, look at this code carefully and tell me, can we reduce the code further? So you see over here 3 lines of code. You use over here a variable called original red. Can I remove this variable and reduce the number of instructions in the code? Is it possible? So it's an exam question that happens, that occurs. Please make sure if you can answer this question, very important for exam. So it is possible to remove this original red variable and take the value of original red. What is the value of original red? Value of original red is get red p. So directly put the value over here. So change this original red and put the get red p instead of original red. So when you do this, then you don't need this line of code. So remove it. So overall, the code on the previous page had 4 lines and now it is only 2 lines code. So this can be exam question of 2 marks, that you are given a code of 4 lines. You can be asked to make it 2 lines of code. Clear? So we have removed one variable initially, all pixels, and we can use also remove the original red in the same manner. And what we do is that we are not using these extra variables. So it is only a matter of programming style, nothing else. The meaning of both the programs is same. So pause it, look at these 2 codes, make sure you understand it. If it's not clear, in the WhatsApp group, send me a message, the chat group, we will discuss. Clear? Next thing is how it works. So the for loop, how it works. So what we do is that here we take this picture object as an input parameter. So this is the picture. Let's see how we do the changes. So what we do is that we call this picture, and inside this for loop, how it is modified. So first time when the picture we start this function, getPixels will store all the pixels from this small picture, and one by one it will select each pixel of the picture. So let's say first time the pixel is this one. So it has 3 color values. And what it will do is that inside the for loop, what it will do is it will modify the red color. So original red will be equal to 135, and what it will do over here is it will multiply 135 with 0.5, so it will make it 67. The exact answer is 67.5, but it will round it off because the variable is integer, so it will store it as integer. Then it will continue for the next pixel 133, and it will make it 66, and it will keep on happening until all the pixels are finished. So at the end of this whole process, the whole picture has less red color. Clear? So here is a small code given to you. Run this code and try to see what happens with this code. This code will show you how to draw a line on the picture. Let me explain a little bit. You know what is pick a file and make picture. After making a picture, what we do over here is, I told you just recently, what is this range function? Range 250 means it will generate a range of numbers starting with 0 until less than 250. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 until 249. So it will, the variable I will go through this range, and it will get the pixel from this range of values. So you see over here, getPixel, it has the picture 100, I. So what is 100? So what it will do is that, let me draw it. So let's say this is your picture. Okay. So the X is on this side. The Y is on this side. The X is fixed. X is not changing. So X is 100. Whereas what is happening is that the Y changes every time. It starts with 0. So Y is 0, for example, here. First pixel. So 0, 1, 2, 3. And it will keep on going until it reaches 249. So I am selecting the pixels in this sequence. Okay. So I select these pixels, and what I do with these pixels, I set their color to yellow. Clear? So like this, at the end, what will happen? It will draw a line, yellow color line on the picture. It will draw a line. Clear? So this is it. This is what I wanted to present in this part of the lecture. How to remove this? Okay. So this is it, how it works. And before going to that one, let's go back, and here I will explain this part also with the pen. So I didn't know how to use the pen. So here you see how they removed this thing. So let's say here you see there is a variable all pixels, and it is equal to getPixels. Okay. So all pixels is a variable, and it has got some value coming from the getPixels. So all pixels is an array, and then I am using this array over here. So what they do is that instead of repeating this thing, I store a value in a variable and then I use that variable. Why don't I remove these things? This, I remove it and directly put getPixels over here, this thing. That's what has happened over here. Clear? Same thing you can do with the original red. This is another variable. So you ignore it, delete it, and instead over here what you will write, get red. Get red will come over here directly. That's what has happened in the next command. In the next line, for example, you see how to remove it. So here you see original red, this one, these two variables, this one variable used two times, it's gone, finished. And what I'm doing is that I put over here the value of the original red directly over here. Clear? So that's how it works, and I reduce the code. So based on this thing, I ask you to go through this code, all this example, and then try to use this thing over here, this code, and your task is to draw a line using this pixel method, not using the line function. Using this pixel method, draw a line in the center of the Eiffel Tower. So open the Eiffel Tower picture. Let me open it. So here it is. Go back. Where is media sources? On my computer, I don't remember. Where is it? Media sources, this one. Okay. So here, go to the Eiffel Tower picture. Open it. And on this Eiffel Tower, what I ask you is to draw a line like this in the center until this point. So until in the middle over here, you draw a line from this point till this point. Okay. First draw a line starting with 0 and then try to draw a line only from this point, start of the Eiffel Tower, the tip of the Eiffel Tower until this point. So remember, you will use the range function not from 0, from other value. So you will give two values to the range function. This is your task. So remember, all these tasks at the end of the vacations, I will check them. So this is one of the tasks for you people. Clear? So what we have done till now is to draw the line on the picture using the pixels, and then we saw how it works, how to modify the complete picture. This is another code. We will look at it a little while ago. So here you see, let me explain it. So here you see, again I will take the pen. This code over here, the inner part of the code, what it does, it will draw a line on the picture at a given point. So let's say when you start, the I will be equal to 0. So I is the value that is on this side, I, and j is the value on this side. So what you do is that when I is 0, this part is 0. So for the first value 0, you draw a line like this first time. Okay, then and j goes from 0 until what value? 199. Remember, range 200 means less than 200. So it will go from 0 until 199. Then it will repeat the same thing from I equal to 1. Sorry for the drawing. Then it will repeat the same thing for I equal to 2, like this, and keep on doing like this. But remember, my drawing is not good, but practically they will be the boxes attached to each other. So at the end, what will happen is that it will repeat these lines 200 times. So what do you think what will happen? What it will do is that it will make a box on the picture. Clear? So let me show you. Let's take this code and draw it on the SharePoint, on the JS. Let me copy it. So here I show you this code. So pick a file, make picture, and you have got 200. Don't put a space. and it will draw a yellow line one by one box on the picture. Why? Remember, when you are copying the code, make sure that you have only one tab space, not multiple tab spaces. So here it is 2 tab, again here 2 tabs, and now save it and run. So it will ask you for the picture. Media sources, and here let's say I want to see what happens with the Eiffel Tower picture. So Eiffel, what it will do is that it is drawing a lines like this. Okay, from top to bottom it draws 200 lines, so 200 pixels in each line, and it will draw 200 lines. So basically it is a box that will have the width 200 and also the height will be 200. If you want to be sure, let me, so it's better if you use the pick a file over here and save the path so that you can practice many times. So here I will select the Eiffel Tower one time and save its path. So take this, copy it and put it equal to my file. Okay, now I change over here. If I make it 300, so what do you think? Pause it, pause the video and think what will be the result. So remember, the X value, it's not changing, so the width of the box will be same, but the height of the box, it will change. Clear? So let me run it, save, run. So you see the width is same but the height has increased. Is it clear? So that's what is happening. Let me change it more, 400 for example. More, the box will increase in size more. But remember, if the size of the box becomes more than the picture size, then it will give error. Your program will crash because there is no pixel available to modify. So it should be less than the picture size. So now let's say make it 300, but I want to make the starting position different. For example, 100, start from 100. What will happen? So you see now it's starting from 100 until less than 200, which is 199. So from 100 until 199. Similarly, you can do over here also. Start from 100 until less than 300 means 299. You run it. It is starting late on the y-axis. So this is your task, a small task that you are given 2 for loops, and your task is to make a box such that it will hide the Eiffel Tower completely. This is the task I ask you to complete. I will check at the end of the holidays. Other than that, this is a typical assignment that happens every semester. Every semester I ask students to make a flag, but every semester there is a different country. Last year I think it was the flag of Arab Emirat, UAE, but this time it is Central African Republic. So the flag is given here to you. Ignore the star. Making star is not easy. Ignore the star. Other than that, you have to make these colors. So it will be easy if you make the complete blue color, complete white, complete green, and then the yellow. And then when it is done, then at the end you draw the red line over here in the center. It will overlap. It will remove the other 3 colors from this region. So this is your assignment. You have to do it yourself and you have to print it and bring it back after the holidays. Very important. or it's better that instead of bringing it back after the holidays in printed form, try to send it to me through the email in a Word document, your code. So write your assignment that should contain the code and the picture that it generates. So the flag image, print it inside the Word document, make it as assignment in Word document and send me the Word document. Clear? So this is your lecture for today. Go through it. If you have any questions, ask me in the WhatsApp group. See you then.